Hey everybody, what's up? Fred McKinnon here with Ecom Catalyst, and today, wow, I've got a video for you that you're going to need to watch if you're an Amazon seller, because they've just changed everything again. And it seems like every video I make is Amazon announcing some sweeping change that impacts everybody in a negative way. All right, this could be good, but it's going to be a bit of a pain. Okay, so let me tell you all about it. All right, Amazon announced about a week or two ago that effective April the 10th, 2025, that any secondary users on your account, meaning, when you go to user permissions and you add a new user to your Seller Central or Vendor Central account, they have to be validated with their identity to show that they actually are employees or work for your company. And they're saying that service providers aren't going to be able to access your account that way anymore. Now, if you are a third-party Amazon seller and you don't have anyone else logged into your account, it's just you and your actual employees in your company, you don't have a lot to worry about. But if you outsource anything about your Amazon account, let's say that you got on Fiverr or Upwork or something and you hired a VA in the Philippines or in India or Pakistan or somewhere, and they're doing some optimizations in your account, or some graphic design work, or you've got a graphics person uploading and building your brand store, all those things that you can hire Ecom Catalyst to do, by the way. Let's say you're doing that and you've given them a secondary user account with a certain set of permissions. According to these notices that we're receiving, that's going to end April 10th. Amazon has something called SPN, Service Provider Network, the Amazon Service Provider Network. It's been around for a while. These are certified official Amazon service providers who have kind of gone through the cut and they've applied and they've been approved. Now I've got several tabs in my Google Chrome browser that I'm going to be showing you on this video because it really will make your head spin. But at the end of the day, again, if you're watching this and you don't have any third-party type people on your account, you don't have any plans to, relax. This isn't going to affect you. Most people have someone logged in, additional user levels given, okay? This is gonna impact you in a tremendous way, all right? We're gonna talk about that right now. So the first thing I wanna do is just talk about what I was referring to as the Amazon Service Provider Network, the SPN. All right, it looks kind of like this, on their website. It's easy to find and you can see it here, and it's a nice little website. And you can actually, if you are a service provider like we are at Ecom Agency, if you're an agency and you're servicing Amazon accounts, then you can actually sign up to be that. But if you click on Explore Services, for example, that's going to take you to a directory of official approved service providers in all sorts of categories, like IP, for example, intellectual property. That is where I initially found our intellectual property attorney, through the Amazon Service Provider Network. If you go in there and, let's say, for example, that you are searching for full Amazon account management in the United States. Well, if you do that and you search for Ecom Catalyst, you'll find us here. We've been approved. We've got our own landing page in the Amazon SPN, in the Service Provider Network page. If you click Contact Provider, what that does is essentially notifies us that we've got a lead that we need to follow up on. So it's a great relationship, okay? We are in Amazon's Service Provider Network. We've been in it for a while. It's one of the big advantages to working with an agency like ours at Ecom Catalyst, because we're already approved. We're already vetted by Amazon. We got their stamp of approval there. And because of that, we did not receive the email, all right? But the email went out all over like Amazon, and it was warning people about how they couldn't do this anymore after April 10th. The only way they could connect to a Seller Central account was no longer through a secondary user account, but through the Service Provider Network, or something new that they're calling the Amazon SPP, Service Provider Portal. So this is basically an example of what we're talking about, okay? It says, hello, starting April 10th, 2025, third-party solution providers must be registered on the Solution Provider Portal to access Seller Central accounts. As a secondary user to one or more Seller Central accounts, we wanted to inform you of our ongoing efforts to increase security and improve the ability for third-party service providers to manage and delegate access granted to them by Amazon sellers. So there's this huge thing going on and people are like panicking. They're freaking out because some of these agencies, for example, have access to hundreds and hundreds of third-party Amazon Seller Central accounts. They're worried about how they're going to get in. And if you're the seller, you're worried that your solutions provider is going to lose access to your account on April 10th. All right. It's a big deal. It's serious. All right. We've got to figure this out. And here's what I figured out in my attempt to figure it out. It's very hard to figure it out. Okay. It's crazy. All right. Now they talked about their new solution provider portal, right? Okay. So as I said, we're already a member of the service provider network. When you're in the service provider network, you log in through something called SP Central. Here's what it looks like. If you've never seen SP Central before, when you log in here, you see the browser is spcentral.com. You can go to request management. That's when people click that yellow button you saw earlier, contact provider, and we have leads that we have to follow up on. That happens there through request management. Permission management is where we're actually given access into third-party seller accounts, okay? So that's kind of where we're beginning to connect to our client accounts as an authorized partner, not as a secondary user on your account, but an authorized partner. Now, because of that, I believe that's the reason we at Ecom Catalyst did not receive that scary email, all right? I think they already know that we're in there. But they're talking about some new thing nobody had heard of called the Solution Provider Portal, SPP, another acronym, okay? Well, that looks like this, Solution Provider Portal. And I mean, it's just yet another website with yet another login. And so just to be safe, I went to enroll in this with Ecom Catalyst and I signed in and started the process. And thankfully, what was really cool was it recognized my email address as already being a member of Amazon's SPN Service Provider Network. Copy to art. All right, you probably don't care about a whole lot of that stuff, but it's kind of scary if you're a service provider and equally if you're a seller because you're concerned about my assistants going to be able to get into my seller account. All right, so I want to save you a lot of time and effort and tell you what I've learned this week. And that's how to go about at least giving access to your authorized service providers through your Seller Central account instead of just making them a secondary user, okay? So we've gone all through this first few minutes of this video just to set the stage for this. This is what you're looking for, okay? This could change because this isn't really going through the SPP, the Solution Provider Portal. This is actually going through SP Central, Service Provider Central, but it's working for us at least, okay? So I'm gonna show you what it would look like if your agency, your VA, your service provider is actually approved by Amazon to access your account after April 10, okay? So I got a lot of screens to share with you, bear with me. All right, here we are. On the first thing that we're gonna have here, you're gonna be coming in and you go to user permissions, and then under user management, you have your normal users here, but then you wanna click on authorized partners. And you would click this link, add an authorized partner. Now you can see Ecom Catalyst, that's our agency. We've already been added as an authorized partner. But if we weren't there, let's say we weren't there, you would click this, add authorized partner, and they're gonna give you a special link, an spcentral.amazon.com link. And with your client, if you're the service provider, or if you happen to be the seller and your service provider needs access to your account, you want to go there, users, you go into settings, user permissions, and then go over there to the authorized partners and add a new authorized partner. Then you're going to send them that link. When they receive that link, they have to open it within 7 days. When they open that link in SP Central, it is then going to send back another invitation to you. So this is basically like, as a seller, you're saying, okay, I'm gonna knock on the door and extend my hand to you and say, hey, will you please invite me to the party? And then when we click the link, it says, okay, send an invite back. So it's like a handshake, okay? Now, here's the crazy thing. When you send the invite back, Amazon and SP Central, as an agency owner, as a service provider, it tells me that the account owner is gonna get an email. Baloney, they don't. We've done this now with dozens of brands. Nobody gets an email, nobody sees the invite, and so you think it's completely dead. We've checked in spam. We've gotten on the phone with our clients and said, look here, look in spam folder, look here. It's not there. It's just not working, okay? Classic Amazon, you must do this by April 10th, and then the process doesn't work, all right? But I'm gonna show you how you can find that. If you're a service provider, you can thank me later for showing you this shortcut. If you're a seller and you're trying to add a service provider, you can thank me by leaving a big thumbs up and a comment. Either way, let us know, okay? I'm gonna show you what that looks like. All right, so here we go here, same place, same area. You know, you'd come into user permissions, user management. Here we were on authorized partners where we clicked on that whole thing, you know, to add a new one. But there's a link here called open invitations, as you can see, open invitations. Now, if you had add someone as an authorized partner, under authorized partners, they would be pending there, and there would be a little toggle switch that basically says approve or deny that application, all right? So I've already done it. That's why you saw Ecom Catalyst as an authorized partner already. But otherwise, if you're adding them, again, the steps are click that add new authorized partner button. It's going to give you a long link that starts with SP Central, Service Provider Central. You're going to email that to your service provider. Service provider is going to click that link, open that up, and within 7 days, and that's going to trigger an invitation for you to allow the service provider access, all right? You're most likely not going to get an email about that. So your service provider is going to say, okay, we did it. We sent the invite. You're not going to see the invite. Go back to settings, users, user permissions, and then go way over there to open invitations. And on that page, by default now, and here's where it gets tricky. By default, you can miss it. By default, that page, when you click on that, open invitations, by default, it says users. You don't have any pending invites, all right? You have to click on authorized partners, and then Ecom Catalyst would be listed there with a button that you would click over here to the right that says approve or deny. That's already been done, so we're already listed there, all right? At the end of the day, what I'm telling you about how to do it right now is through the Service Provider Network, SPN. It's not through SPP. I believe that SPN and SPP are somehow merging and coming into one thing. I don't really know, but if you're panicking and freaking out like we were, well, honestly, we weren't really panicking because we're already in. But if you're trying to make sure that your service providers are connected, or if you're a service provider and you're trying to make sense out of it, this is what you need to do. Hey, I hope this helps. This is not my typical how to sell on Amazon or how to do what. This is much more, you know, into the weeds, but it's super important, all right? I hope it helps. Hey, if you're a seller and you're looking for an authorized service provider that Amazon's already approved, we're in there. We've already passed the bar. We've already been stamped for full account management, one-off consulting. We're here for you. Would love to work with you. Visit ecomcatalyst.com. You can request a free consultation. You can do paid consultations for an hour, for a half hour. What we really love is working with brand owners on full service account management, where we do it all for you, grow and scale your brands. Our team, we've scaled brands, 7-8 figure brands. We've been part of exits. We've been part of acquisitions. I've been at it for over about 22 years, I think. We have hundreds of millions of dollars under our belt combined among our team. We know what we're doing. And with that experience comes a lot of wisdom that saves you a lot of time and ultimately a lot of money, all right? If you're a service provider and you're watching this and this helps, reach out. I love to network and just work with you guys and see how we can help one another keep the ball rolling down the court, all right? Finally, I like to end every video by thanking you for watching. I understand there's bazillions of Amazon seller gurus all over YouTube, but you guys are subscribing every single day, new subscribers. Like, our watch hours are growing. It's like you're engaging, you're leaving comments. I love waking up in the morning to YouTube comments. I try to personally respond to every one of them. So thank you so much for doing that. Thank you for subscribing. Hit the thumbs up button to let us know that you like this video. Share it with your friends and keep watching, okay? Thanks a lot.